What is up, guys? I did a video about good habits players have, and a lot of people asked about some bad habits that you should break as well. So I've watched a bunch of games, especially at lower elo, and I've narrowed it down to 6 big habits that you should try to break. Thank you again to Pro Guides for editing this video together for me. You can check out their guides and Genius feature down below. Remember to like this video if you did, dislike it if you didn't, but let's crack on. So the first one is relying on your teammates, probably the most important part to climbing, especially at lower ranks. Now the thing is, it's actually the opposite. You don't want to rely on your teammates. Just because something seems obvious or logical, it definitely does not mean it's obvious to them. I've made so many plays on my unranked to diamond account that are good if everyone goes in, if we all commit, but teammates just don't, and it ends up backfiring. It's probably one of the biggest reasons you're ever gonna throw in a game, and most people take fights where you should win, right? But should if your teammate does their job. You have to assume that they're not going to. You have to pick fights where even if they fail completely, you're still going to win. So the bad habit is making a play assuming someone will do something and actually help. The problem is teammates are not going to see the same things as you. They just aren't as good as you often. They aren't on the same page, so it's probably going to backfire and end up going even worse. The way to fix this is to only make plays that will succeed if your teammate does absolutely nothing. So engage fights that are 5v4 or 5v3. No matter how bad your teammate messes up, you're still going to come out on top. The second one is warding a bush head on. It sounds a little bit odd, but trust me, this is probably the smallest change that makes the biggest difference. There are kind of two parts to this. So one is warding when getting ganked, the other is warding in a way that will get you killed. So how many times have you walked towards a bush to ward it and the enemy champion is sitting right there? I mean, everyone has, right? But it's so easily avoidable. Even though you can't tell, often the enemy laner will actually walk towards you if someone is already there. If you ever have to ward blind, then you should watch the laner while you're doing it. So the bad habit is actually just walking up to a bush to ward it, or warding when you think a gank is coming. If you ward when you think you're getting ganked, chances are the jungler is already there and you're in for a nasty surprise. The problem is you actually have no vision and no idea if anyone is there. It's kind of a false illusion. Just because you're about to ward doesn't actually mean you're safe at all right now. The way to fix this is to ward over walls. Don't directly walk up to a bush, stand behind minions if you can't do it over a wall, and watch the enemy champion in lane. If they start walking towards you, then chances are someone is there and you just need to back off, and even if they aren't, at least you didn't die. The third one is trying to finish objectives even when the enemy team is near, aka the famous old Baron throw. This is one of the big ways you'll actually ever throw a game, at Baron or Dragon, and sneaking it is one thing, okay, but taking it when the enemy is coming is a whole different ball game. Often, unless you actually can finish it early enough, you've taken more damage and now you have to fight. You're often actually going to lose that fight afterwards. Even though you might have got the objective first, the fight is lost afterwards and you'll lose even more. It's actually very rarely worth the trade, really. It's much better and much safer in general to peel away and fight before you take too much damage and then win that fight. Then you take the objective afterwards. There are times when it's best to just rush it and run away, but normally it's much safer to fight. The bad habit here is just staying on the objective when the enemy team collapses. When you see them coming towards you and you're like, oh, it's only 5,000 health, I'm gonna rush it down. Probably not the best idea. The biggest problem is that you've already taken damage from that objective, really, so probably going to lose the fight afterwards. And even if you actually haven't finished it already, then you're going to be continuously taking damage from that objective while you're still fighting. The best way to fix this is to say before you start that if they come, you're going to turn. That way everyone has more of an idea and is ready to fight. Like, yeah, you can't actually make them turn around, but you can put the idea in their head before we even start. So the next one is overvaluing CS or minions, and this is something that definitely applies to AD carries a lot, but the other roles as well. What I mean is, you know how you greed for that cannon or that CS you're being zoned from, but you have to get? The way I do this is I live by the phrase that I want 100% of the CS I'm able to get. That means if I'm being forced away, then it doesn't matter. I can't do anything about it. I will just make sure that I get what I can. Greeding for the cannon especially is the #1 way you're ever going to lose a lane. I'm not kidding. It's the easiest way to lose. You walk forward, you focus the creep, and you have people jump onto you and you lose half your health or a massive chunk of your health, and for what? 40 gold? That's not really worth it. The bad habit actually is your attitude, worrying too much about losing a few CS or having to miss them. The problem is that you're going to lose a chunk of health when you're doing it. You're looking at the minion, right, and the enemy team are looking at you. It's a complete mismatch there. The easiest way to fix this is to change your outlook. To get the CS you can, stop worrying about losing a few. A 20 CS lead is only a few hundred gold, kind of, and that will not lose you the game. So the fifth one is not recalling when you're low or when the opponent has already based. Another really common lane bad habit actually is to stay around for the next item you need when it's a bad idea to do so. You don't want to miss the CS, right? Nobody does. Kind of similar to our habit before actually, so we stay even though we're with low health. You're an easier target to kill now. How many times have we died from overstaying? I bet everyone has done it at least once, probably 100 times. There's no lane pressure from you anymore. The opponent is going to free farm for now, and you can't do anything. That is just if you're low already, right? If the opponent bases, it's also really important because they will have spent their gold and you haven't, which means there's a massive difference in items. If you have 1,000 gold in your pocket and they have 1,000 gold spent invested in more damage, then they're going to win a fight if it comes down to it. The bad habit, really, to sum it up, is staying in lane with no health potions or staying to save for an item. The problem is you're going to lose all your lane control, you're letting your opponent get stronger, and you're getting weaker. You're actually going to miss more staying over time than if you just based and missed a wave. The best way to fix this is if you can't contest anymore and can't farm, then you base and you run back to lane. You can even buy boots to get there quicker. Try and make sure you kill a wave first, and then you go back though to minimize the amount of minions you're going to lose. Now the final one, probably one that people are going to hate me for saying, but not buying a pink ward. This is something that is a bad habit even for diamond players. We just don't buy pink wards, and I have no idea why. They're only 75 gold now. Chances are we have that spare item slot and the gold handy when we base. It's especially more important after the lane phase, not so much when you're building your first core item and stuff. You can, I guess, justify skipping the cost there, but we can set up defensive wards or control objectives a lot easier mid-game. Vision actually does mean a lot more in Season 6. I think there are less wards on the map anyway, so it's harder to control areas and easier to pink places to deny. They might walk in blind and we can catch them, I guess, for some easy kills, but it also means our team are less likely to get caught, and I think we can all agree that people dying less on our team is a good thing. So the bad habit is having the golden inventory but ignoring pink wards and just pretending they don't exist and not buying them. The problem is that ganks are easier for the enemy team to pull off. If we don't pink ward, we deny ourselves the chances of catching people when they're blind as well. There are a lot of different ways to fix this and to remind yourself to buy them, but for me personally, as sad as it sounds, I actually write pink ward on a post-it note and attach it to the bottom of my monitor so I remember to buy one. Just make sure you buy it and place it where it's needed. You can either protect someone on your team who might be getting camped so they don't die anymore, or just to control an objective. So that wraps up this video, and thank you to Pro Guides for editing this together for me. All their lovely stuff is down below. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, but for now, let's go to the robots.